Yeah. Okay, I think we're good to go. Cool. So, थोड़ा सा कैमरा शायद टेढ़ा है. Okay, I think we can start the discussion. मैं स्क्रीन शेयर भी कर देता हूँ एक बार जल्दी से. So, I think इस बार मैंने क्लोज कर दिया सर. I don't think other people will be able to join now. Okay, let's start. Oh, okay, yes. Okay, guys, so thanks a lot for joining in for the 10th edition of TBC Weekly Live. This is a show where we discuss all the startup related news which has happened, majority of them at least, and help you understand the different perspectives of how investors and founders look at news. We have Saurabh Agarwal, who's the founder of Angel Bay, with us, and there are a few other regulars who will be joining in due time. But in the interest of time, we're just kicking it off. I'll put on the screen share for you guys to watch. And just for all of you guys who don't know, the Builders Club is one of the largest startup founder communities globally. And I think my voice would have been a little bit down, but I'm sure that my voice is a little bit more audible now. Um, Let me just check whether everything is in place. Yeah. So, we're one of the largest startup founder communities globally. We have 75,000 odd builders. And this is one of the many different initiatives that we do. This TVC Live is one of them where we try and create as much value for all of you people who are just starting up in the ecosystem. This show primarily helps you keep updated about what's happening in the ecosystem because we also cover funding news in this one. Um, there are three main things which we basically do. One is discussing about startup news, second is a weekly book recommendation, and third is the giveaway, for which you'll have to wait till the end of the show. Um, so let's just kick it off with the startup news. This week has been really good for the early stage startups, right? So there were only two growth stage deals which happened this month. This week. One was Wow Momo, which had a Series D of 42.16 million, and then there was One Card, which basically had $14.4 million of debt funding. So One Card, of course, as you people, in case you people are a part of or have browsed Amazon, you people must have seen them on the homepage. They are a mobile first credit card startup doing really well. So they have raised a debt round of 14.4 million. Coming to early stage deals, so this week has been really good for early stage startups. 22 deals worth $121.45 million. The topmost is the International Battery Company, which is 35 million in funding, followed by Stock Grow, which is a social investment platform which raised 205 CR in debt. Then we have FinAGG, which raised $11 million. It's a cash flow based supply chain finance platform. Then there is Aqua Exchange, which is an IoT solutions provider, which raised $6 million. Alt Mobility has been in a fundraising spree. They just raised their next round of $6 million. They're into EV leasing and lifecycle management platform. Um, then there is Growimo, which is a manufacturer first automation platform of 5.4 million. Then there is Buy Easy, which is beauty and wellness product marketplace, which raised $4.25 million. Then there is V Genomics, Sahaj Gaming, Coinex, and Renal Project. have raised undisclosed amount, but V Genomics has been funded by our very close friends from Mumbai Angels and O2 Fund. Then there is Sahaj Gaming, which got funded by Antler. Then Coinex, which is again a strategic investments, I guess, from Coin DCX. And then there is Renal Project, which got funded by Jito Fund, which is in the renal healthcare domain. Quite a niche, but I'm sure a decent enough niche. International Battery Company and Alt Mobility basically reinforces my belief that 2024 is going to be the year of EV for India. A lot of great startups and great innovations are gonna come. A lot of bigger international players are already making way. In case you follow our shows, you know that Elon Musk has been trying, but there are also Vietnamese EV startups which are trying to make entry into the ecosystem. We have an interesting story around the chipsets in today's news, which we're going to cover. But I think with that, we can move on to the main story of the week. But before that, Saurabh sir, any comments on the EV ecosystem? I think we have spoken at length about it, but I think International Battery Company raises $35 million. That's a big number.
And it's the same round. So these guys are coming from good pedigree, like having a good base. And they're trying to now build batteries in India, which no one is doing because lithium batteries, most of the material is getting imported from China. So this could be a big game changer in terms of they starting to produce batteries in India.
Yeah. Interesting. No, so I think batteries is the way to go, and I think we spoke about this last time also. Uh, a lot of we will see a lot of backward integration by a lot of bigger players, but then a majority of these battery companies which are growing in 2024 might get acquired by these bigger players in the longer run. I think that's the usual play. What is your take on that?
I come from the auto background. So the thing remains is that many of the part manufacturers are larger than the OEMs. So once you look at a battery manufacturing company, they can easily become larger than any vehicle producer. So
Yeah.
there may be some
Hmm.
bit of integration out there, but I think these companies tend to survive in isolation. Survive is the wrong word. Thrive in isolation because these are, let's say, slightly high margin components we're talking about.
Interesting. Interesting, as usual, a perspective that I was not aware of. Thanks a lot for that, Saurabh. And for all of you guys who are watching in, please subscribe to our channel. That's the way that you people can help us support our work. And with that, let's just move on to the next bit. So, going to city-wise deals, I think Bangalore has hit it out of the park this week. I think Bangalore is has consistently been the number one city from which funding have been happening, followed by Delhi NCR and then Bombay. Then there is Ahmednagar, Pune, Coimbatore, Mysore, Vijayawada, Hyderabad, and Kolkata, from which one deals have happened each. Moving on to the top news of today. So the whole Ayodhya fever is on, and I think on 22nd we basically saw the inauguration in of the Ram Mandir in Ayodhya. Startups have not missed out on this opportunity to capitalize on this moment. I think it's a great occasion for which every startup is trying to make the most out of. Oyo has launched 65 new properties in Ayodhya. Ease My Trip has introduced holiday packages and discounts, especially for people who are going in to the Ram Mandir. And the same has happened with Make My Trip. Zostel has become very active, and all these travel and accommodation companies, hospitality companies are basically making a lot of bugs there. Saurabh, I think we did talk about religious tourism and this ecosystem basically opening up with a lot of religious or spirituality based merchandise companies also getting funded in the recent times. What is your take on this whole Ayodhya debate? Is this something which is just a fad and things are going to come back to the normal, or do you think this as a beginning of something else? I mean, do you think even for Ayodhya as a city, will this last or will this boost the businesses of the local enterprises, or is just something which people are going to move on once this inauguration is done?
Once you look at, there are multiple cities in India which are currently running on back of some religious place, right? So you do have Tirupati, then you do have, let's say, a couple of, let's say, large temples, Vaishno Devi, for example. So in these places, there would be a lot of tourism which will be continuously happening. So to be honest, in Ayodhya, you can actually currently build about 18 startups on the go, just on the back of the mandir. And these are, let's say, long-term projects because this particular thing, let's say, when you look at 24, like first 3 months, it would be very heavy. But post that, the footfall would be still so high that multiple businesses would thrive on it.
Got it. Just hold on. I think my camera. Yeah, sorry, my camera got disconnected.
You know.
Ha. Yeah, sorry. So you were saying, so just to summarize, I think, do you think this, so technically this is a short-term play, the way I look at it.
No, this is a pretty long-term play.
This is a long-term play. Okay.
What I was trying to say is that there are multiple towns which are currently being run by the religious places in those
Yeah,
towns, right?
yeah. So
So
Tirupati and
once you look
Puri
at,
and
you're
all of
going to
these
Shirdi,
places.
you're going to Tirupati, yeah.
Got it.
So
Interesting. So
this
Ayodhya
one, let's
becomes a
say,
landmark then. Now.
yeah, yeah. So there would be a lot of tourism. There would be a lot of, let's say, flower-based startups coming in. There would be, you said that religious, let's say, merchandise kind of companies will be coming. Now, startups is just one thing, right? There would be potentially 1,000 to 5,000 shops which will thrive around Ayodhya Mandir.
Mm,
So those are micro startups.
got it. Got it. Interesting. I hope that a lot of innovation happens in Ayodhya. And congratulations to all the devotees who are visiting Ayodhya right now. Okay, moving on to the next one. Now, this is a hot take because Paytm basically has gotten onto the AI bandwagon. And last month, Paytm sacked hundreds of employees, citing the increasing usage of AI-led automation. And instead of expanding more big business functions, now Paytm is now adding AI capabilities to improve efficiencies. This is something which I think every other big company is trying to do, is use AI to increase efficiency and reduce manpower and cut on expenses. Again, a hot take. I think while a lot of jobs might be cut, and this is something which I think from a macro trend perspective, every one of us will agree that AI is going to take jobs, but those jobs will eventually get replaced. Now, my question here is that what happens to the people who are losing out on jobs? I mean, who are losing these jobs? Um, is the message to them is it to upskill themselves to find different different kind of or build on a different kind of a skill set, or is it to find another job? I mean, what's your take on this, Saurabh?
The short term, it's somewhat easier to find a parallel job because once you look at automation slash AI, right, it comes in waves. So there are certain companies who adopt it first. So the persons who are getting laid off, they can join the competing firms, because there are multiple fintechs where these kind of jobs still exist.
Yeah.
But over the long term, I think some of these jobs will start phasing out. So upskilling is definitely like one thing which people need to do over next couple of years to upgrade, because in terms of upgradation, you can actually upgrade your CV and your pay. In case you remain in the same job, the problem is the number of jobs will continue to decline. Not fast, but still it will decline, and hence the salaries would be
Ah,
probably
makes
stagnated
sense.
in these
Makes sense.
segments. Yeah.
Makes sense. But no, I think that kind of encapsulates it. I do believe that the nature of jobs are going to change from here on. It's just that a lot of people would run behind the AI bit. My take is that you should focus on what you are good at and try to upskill that instead of just trying to have a herd mentality that every job is in AI. So just let's try and get a certification on AI. Having said that, I think AI as an enabler is one of the best things that could happen to anybody who has been running at especially startups, because this helps you in managing a lot of work with a fraction of a cost that used to be at one point of time. Moving on, this is a interesting one. So Flipkart is getting into the personal loan game with the launch of Super Dot Money. The whole idea is that Flipkart has been experimenting with various different business models for some time now, but they have now earmarked $20 million for building this fintech product from scratch. Incidentally, Super Money is one of the core team members, is a very close friend of mine, so I might have some some beat around it. But I'll not go there. So basically, Flipkart, if you look at their platform, apart from just doing selling products or being a competitor to Amazon, as many might put it, they have an ads business, they have mini apps, they have super coins loyalty programs. So they have been trying to innovate for some time now. Now, this one is a very strategic bet, because what they are basically saying कि यार पैसे ना लोन से ही बनते हैं, ठीक है? Eventually आप अगर आप if you're in the business of finance, eventually the money is going to come from either insurance or from loans. And I think this move kind of consolidates that belief. I wanna take your take on this, Saurabh, around why do you think so? Flipkart is technically an e-commerce company, right? Um, I mean, going beyond their core, they're basically getting into the finance business. What is your take on this?
Mostly, once you look at many large companies in the ecosystem, they start with a particular function, but then they realize that money could be made into embedded finance, right? Because it's easy, you do have all the infrastructure, you do have, let's say, the user base which is coming to you. Now, in case Flipkart has got X number of guys visiting them on a monthly basis, who are actually spending money. So it becomes, let's say, a kind of a hook where they can actually start monetizing better by putting in the fintech segment. Now, on the fintech side, the easy part is that there are a lot of APIs which you can drop into banks and BFCs or insurance companies, right? So you don't really need a pretty large setup to run a kind of a fintech in the embedded environment.
Yeah.
So once you do have a large enough ecosystem, what you feel is that other fintech players are making money out of you. So why don't you actually start creating infrastructure to
Ah,
make money yourself? So initially, most of the players tend to run with partners, but after a while, certain places where they see a lot of money being made, they try to build their internal teams to do it.
makes sense. Makes sense. Makes sense. Okay, moving on to the next one. Uh Again, I think this is not that big of a news, but I still want to touch it. But Ola has launched Ola Maps. for their electric two-wheelers. Again, I don't know why they didn't want to rely on Google Maps API. Is it a cost thing, Saurabh, or is it more of an ego thing that I want to have my own map?
Would be potentially like any other startup does that there are a lot of apps in different segments. So in case you want to manage money, right, you would have cookie cutter apps being provided, but then you can't really customize, you can't put in your pin into that. So once you create your own maps, you can actually play around with that. So you want to show something nearby, you want to push in discounts through that, you want to probably do multiple
Ah,
things. So cost is not heavy once you are using Google Maps because you're building a complete infrastructure yourself, right?
so
So
it's like the Ola Play they used to have in the cabs at that point of time, the entertainment, the tablet. Interesting. So they want to
uh,
own the overall experience, is what I understand.
exactly. Once you own the experience, then you can actually put in your markers into the whole map.
Yeah, makes sense. Makes sense. Moving on, this is a good one. I mean, I had been waiting for this to happen for some time because I knew that this is the next logical step. So Nodwin has basically bought out Comic Con India for I wouldn't call it measly, but it's actually a very small number. It's around $6 million,
I was
dollars,
wondering.
55 CR. And
Yeah.
imagine the kind of impact and the kind of pop relevance that this brand has in today's times. And look at the amount of money that they are being sold out for. I mean, I come from a media background, and for me, it's highly. I mean, I sometimes am amazed that the kind of effort that goes into building such a brand like a Comic Con, when you look at the numbers in terms of financials and in terms of valuation, they don't really match up. This basically shows that I think from a margins perspective, it's a little bit of a hard sell, for the people who are organizers for these kind of businesses, and all that also kind of makes me think about in from an event perspective or these kind of businesses, they usually operate at a very very low margin, but these are usually passion projects that eventually turn up into businesses. Comic Con India, I think it was got to India by one guy. I've forgotten the name of this guy. I met him incidentally around a decade back, and every year was a struggle because every year looking it's technically an event which requires sponsors, and there is no other way around it. So they basically got the franchisee, they got the IP for India, um, but then monetizing it was a completely different game altogether. So Nodwin has basically bought it out, and it's a very beautiful IP to have for Nodwin, given the fact that um, they've already acquired Planet Superheroes as well. They are working very, very closely for the youth portfolio. I think, sorry, Nazara Gaming basically picked up Planet Superheroes. Now, Nodwin Gaming is any which was funded by Nazara. So Nodwin is basically looking to diversify its youth portfolio. They any which ways were an events game. I mean, they are into the events game, and I think a Comic Con India kind of helps them go beyond just esports and beyond just gaming, and also now into the pop culture, as they might call it. What's your take on this, Saurabh?
Yeah, in this case, as you said, right? So the events business tends to be very heavy operationally, and getting sponsorships, selling tickets sometimes becomes onerous to run. So I was just checking Comic Con. So they do about $7 million in revenue. That's what Google says in India. So the deal is at about 1x revenue, which is normal. That's not like a startup kind of a thing, but in an established company, that's a fair valuation. And obviously, let's say once they come with Nodwin, I think they will get a greater reach, and Nodwin has got, let's say, their own user base. So chances are that it will become easier for Comic Con to expand with Nodwin. And then Nazara is
Mm.
anyway at the back.
No, But the problem is, I think Comic Con India in itself is a IP which has been taken from Comic Con Global. So I don't know
Right.
whether from a global expansion perspective, a Comic Con India could go out. For all I understand, for Nodwin Gaming, it's a good play for having their brand, this brand in their portfolio.
Right.
But I mean, again, events business, 1x multiple is nothing. I mean, that's the reason why I think, SaaS and fintech and all of these industries which have scalability built into their DNA kind of makes more sense in terms of effort that is put in. Usually, events or something like that are passion projects. You can ask us. So we basically understand that even when the multiples might not be that high, this is something which we like doing and we will do it.
It's like a slow growth business, right? So they got incorporated around 2011.
Yeah,
So we are looking at 13 years old company doing
yeah, yeah,
about
yeah.
$7 million, right? So the multiples flatten out after a while.
Makes sense, makes sense. चलो ठीक है, 15 साल के लिए 50 करोड़ मिले, not bad. Because it's a, but this is also a 100% stake. It's a cash and stock deal, but ठीक है.
Fashion strong
Let's
deal.
move on to the next one. This is interesting. So, government is considering putting a mandatory system to put brakes on the e-commerce sites fake reviews. I have also gotten uh, this thing around it. Let me just pull this one in. So basically, what has happened is this comes days after the center notified a host of guidelines addressing the regulation of wrongful practices known as dark patterns. So the government basically has pointed out 13 types of dark patterns, up from 10, which was given in the draft. I have a link of the 13 dark patterns which have been mentioned. I think which, as per the guidelines, applicable penalty. Okay, the final guidelines. Okay, this includes false urgency, basket sneaking, confirm shaming, forced action, subscription trap, interface interference, bait and switch, drip pricing, disguised advertisement, and nagging. I think this is just a global practice which is now being incorporated in India. The way I look at it, there have been a lot of these things which have been put into best practices by platforms like Google and all. Whoever is getting into AdSense and the kind of ads that they run on their ad platforms, they have the certain guidelines. I think this is just one move made by the government so that people are not duped into buying something which they don't want. And yeah, so there are three new patterns which have been identified. One is a trick question, second is a SaaS billing, and third is a rogue malware. Interestingly, SaaS billing is probably a one-click thing that people just click and the payment has happened, and they probably, I don't think a one-click, but probably a two-factor authentication or some kind of an subscription. But we'll probably have to go deeper, a little bit deeper into it. Any take on this one, Saurabh?
This one, I think the fake reviews is like a big problem on multiple platforms, right? So either it's managed or fake. So once the guidelines come in, at least some bit of cleaning would tend to happen.
Yeah.
It will become onerous for the platforms to actually implement these. But I think, yeah, finally they would need to come in.
तो होना ही था. This is just a matter of time. Okay, moving on. So this is what I was talking about. So Foxconn has formed a JV with HCL to build chip testing plant in India. This has been a long time coming because Foxconn has been trying to invest or trying to come to India for chip making for some time now. And this is the second attempt by the Taiwanese company. Again, a great news for India. because I think chipset manufacturing being restricted to Taiwan has had its fair share of issues. It's high time that other countries reduce their dependency on Taiwan, and a Taiwanese company actually coming and building it in India is actually a great news for the chipset ecosystem in India. What's your take, Saurabh?
So I think because with the increase in, let's say, computing, this is one place where we did not have capabilities of
Yeah.
building chipsets in India, right? So we were mainly dependent upon imports out here. So if something can be built out in India, that will be a big boost.
But I think why is the Indian government, so we have been trying to build our own semiconductors, but I think the distance between, so there's this nanometer, or there are the different sizes or different types of semiconductors, right? And I think we basically are focusing a little bit on the older models in terms of manufacturing in India till now. No cutting edge semiconductor manufacturing has happened in India yet. So I am a little bit intrigued on what kind of semiconductors are we talking about here? Because I think in the auto space, the older semiconductors would still work for a car, but it might not work for an iPhone or for a smartphone. So and again, it depends on the kind of demand or the volume of demand that a certain kind of semiconductor has. Um, but interesting to see, finally the government allowing and I think this would also be a little bit of a strategic bet from the government side in terms of approval. What do you think? Getting a Taiwanese company to open up shop or tie up for an Indian this thing.
Yeah, that is amazing. I never actually made that connection that the company is from Taiwan. So in case they're allowing them to do that, that's like a strategic kind of a move.
Yeah, yeah. Okay, I think with that, we are done with today's news. Quite a breezy one, Saurabh, because I think in every past episodes I had been extending the time. So we just wanted to finish it off, and we had around 25 people who joined us. Hi, please subscribe to the Builders Club if you have not already. And I will quickly move on to the book of the week, which is the last section and which will also lead to a giveaway. So today's book of the week is a book that we call .com Secrets. I don't know how many of you have read this book, but in case you people are building anything in the online space, this is one book you people should give a read. So this book is written by a guy called Russell Brunson. He is the founder of ClickFunnels. This is a definitive company which deals in online marketing and online sales funnels. And in this book, this is basically a tell-all about the different kinds of sales funnels which businesses can implement to increase their online sales and conversions. Now, there are some very interesting funnels which have been discussed in the book, right? So, one is a two-step free plus shipping funnel. So, this funnel involves offering a free product which customer only pays for shipping to attract leads. You might have seen so many different companies who do this. But after the initial free offer, businesses can then upsell additional products to increase the average transactional value. Second is the self liquidating offer funnel. In this funnel, the initial offer is priced low enough to cover the advertising cost. Now, the goal here is to acquire the customer at a break even point with the potential to profit from upsells and future purchases. The third is the continuity funnel. This involves offering a subscription or a membership program, which kind of makes sense. Then there is a perfect webinar funnel. This funnel focuses on using webinars as a powerful tool, and the book goes into details on how exactly do you upsell stuff on webinars. And incidentally, when I was reading this book, I actually tried to map it with the current onslaught of all the people who are trying to sell you courses, and every person without a beat follows the same funnel which has been mentioned in the book. You go to Skill Nation, you go to Ankur Warikoo, everybody has the same funnel. So there's a tried and tested funnel. You don't fix what's not broken. I'm assuming. You don't need to innovate really. You just need to get a hand on this book, and this has has the funnels which you can basically go through. Then there's something known as a product launch funnel. Again, this funnel is designed for launching a new product or service with a sequence of a pre-launch event. So you build anticipation, you build hype. This typically involves a series of videos, content leading to the actual product launch. This again is something which you see in every marketing campaign that you go through. There's a pre-launch activation in which they try to give a teaser, a trailer, a little bit of content here and there. The key is or the devil is in the details. These are as just frameworks till the time you actually get your creatives and communications right for this one. Things usually don't move. Then there is a high ticket three-step application funnel. This funnel is suitable for businesses offering high ticket items. So, this involves a process where potential customers go through an application before making a purchase, adding a layer of qualification. Then somebody calls you and then sells you, because then there's a higher intent which has already been shown. So, you never do impulse purchases or buy this for $10,000. You always, 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 and hence every in every business or any SaaS or any product that you go through, you'll always see that the enterprise plans are always talk to sales, right? Okay, then there is the invisible funnels. Now, this is a unique funnel that Brunson introduces, emphasizing providing value and building a relationship with the audience before you make any sales pitch. This is TBC in essence, actually. So we have an invisible funnel. We don't sell you anything. We just try and give you as much value as we can, and in the hopes that if and when we have something to sell, hopefully you people will buy. But yeah, with that, I think this book is actually a great book for anyone who's building an online business. This gives you a lot of frameworks, and you can actually use this as a textbook, like the ones like back in the school and college days. You have a textbook and then you have assignments. You can use this in a similar way. Very, very highly effective in terms of application for a founder who basically gets hands on this book. And this book is out for a giveaway as well. So all you need to do is like the video, subscribe to our channel, and leave a comment below talking about which of these news items did you people like. In case you people have any perspective on any of the news that has been discussed, please add that also in the comment section below. And in case there are any specific news items which you want to talk about, please add that to the column below as well. So, Arab, is there any news item which you want to cover, which we missed out on?
This time I did not track the news items. I might have
कोई बात
read, but
नहीं,
I just completely
हमारे ऊपर
forgot.
डिपेंडेंसी आपकी बढ़ती जा रही है, अच्छी बात है.
Yeah, so this is now my weekly newspaper.
Yeah, but this is good, yeah. I think we have even for me, it's become I have now started becoming a little bit more conscious about the stuff which is happening since the time I started doing this. Earlier, I never really tracked news that closely, but now I do, and it's great, yeah. I really enjoy this. I look forward to this 1 hour every week now. And hopefully from the next time onwards, we'll have more people because we have changed the way we do these lives. So guys, in case you people want to be a part of the live, you have to be part of the club and you need to be invited. Otherwise, you will be a part of the viewer section. But with that, I think we will draw this show to a close. Please follow the Builders Club on YouTube channel, our YouTube channel. Please like, share, and subscribe. In case you people have any recommendations, any feedback for us, please feel free to leave it down in the comment section below. And with that, we shall take your leave. See you again next week, same place, same time.